In this video, we will solve a numerical problem on the money market. Now, when we are talking about market, that means there is one side which we'll call as the demand side and the other side is the supply side. So here the problem is the money market problem. One side we will have the money demand and other side we will have the money supply. Now remember here in this problem we are given the real money demand. Real money demand means the nominal money demand which is represented by MD. If we divide this nominal money demand by the price level, we will get the real money demand. So this is our real money demand. Now this real money demand is actually the function of the interest rate that here is represented by I. So this real money demand, we can also write it as M by P, then first bracket and D, which is a function of the interest rate. This interest rate is basically the nominal interest rate that is prevailing in an economy. The real money demand, if it is equal with the real money supply, then we can call it as the equilibrium situation in the money market. Now we need to find out that how we can get this real money supply. Here in the question we have that nominal money supply which is 1600 and the price level is 2, price level P. So P is equal to 2 and M here is equal to 1600. So at the basic level, this real money supply will be nothing but 1600 divided by the price level which is 2, and if we divide 1600 by 2 the value will be 800. So this will be the real money supply at the initial level. Now let us look at the questions. So in the first question we are asked to draw the graph. Now as I said that the real money demand is a function of what? Function of the nominal interest rate. And if the interest rate goes up, we know that if the interest rate goes up, then definitely people would prefer to keep the money with the bank because interest rate is nothing but the amount of money that people sacrifice if they hold that money in their hands. So in this case, if the nominal interest rate goes up, people will prefer to keep the money in the banks or in the deposits so that they can earn interest on it rather holding it in their hands, because if people hold the money in their hands, definitely it doesn't bring any interest, it doesn't earn any interest, right? So in that case, if nominal interest rate increases, the real money demand will decline, which implies we have a negative relationship. Negative, or we can call it as the inverse relationship. Now look at here, the function that is given. What is the function? That M by P D equal to 1000 minus 10I. We will write the money demand function at here, that M by P D is equal to 1000 minus 10I. So this equation is nothing but a straight line equation. So in this given question, we have a straight line money demand function. If the value of I or interest rate is equal to 0, what will be the amount of money demand? The money demand will be 1000. That means if there is no interest rate being charged or no interest rate is given, then definitely the money demand is the maximum. What is the maximum amount of money demand? That is 1000. Now, if we take a xy plane where on the x-axis we will measure the money demand and on the vertical axis we will measure the nominal interest rate. So what is the value where the value of I will be 0? Value of I will be 0 along the x-axis. So if the value of I is 0, what is the maximum amount of uh, money that will be demanded? That is 1000. Say for example, this is 1000. Now in this case, if it is 1000 and if we draw a straight line from here, we will get the money demand function. So this is the money demand function for this question. Now slope we can definitely derive from this equation. So you can derive this slope and we can draw the money demand function. Now here what is this value? Can anyone tell me what is this value? If you look at the feature at here, along the y-axis, the value of m by pd is always 0. So if I take the value of m by pd equal to 0, m by pd equal to 0, that means the 1000 minus 10i will be equal to 0, or we can write it here as I equal to 100. Just we have changed the position and we have solved this equation and we got the value of I, that is 100. So here this intercept is actually this vertical intercept is 100 and the horizontal intercept is 1000. So this is our money demand curve. Now we will draw the money supply curve. What is the money supply function? That is m by, we already have derived it at here. Money supply function, if you look at m by p, here we will write here m by p money supply, so we will write here S. So money supply, what is the money supply we already identified for the given price level, that is 800. So money supply will be 800 somewhere at here. Now we know that money supply doesn't depend on the nominal interest rate. So it is a vertical line or perpendicular on the horizontal line where we have measured the money supply. So the green line will be the money supply curve for our problem. So now the first question we have solved. Now look at the second question. What will be the equilibrium rate of interest? What does it mean by equilibrium? If you look at the graph, it is very clear that this is the equilibrium, because equilibrium means we know that the demand side, here it will be money demand, that will be equal to the supply side. Here the supply side consists of the money supply. So m by pd equal to m by ps. Now what is the equation for the money demand? Money demand equation here is m by p d, which is equal to 1000 minus 10i, and that will be equal to the m by ps, or we can write it as equal to 800. Now if you solve it, then 10I equal to 200. I equal to 20. So the equilibrium interest rate at here is 20. Clear? So the second question is also solved. What is the equilibrium interest rate? We have identified the equilibrium interest rate here is 20%. Now let us move to the next question. Next question, assume the price level is fixed. What will happen to the equilibrium interest rate if money supply increases to 1600? Actually, here there is a correction. It will be money supply increases to 80 100, and also in the question number 4, the central bank wants to decrease the money supply at interest rate of 8. So there are two corrections in the question. So let us first look at the question number 3. What will happen if the money supply increases to 1800? The same thing we will do that we have done in the previous question. We will first equate the money demand equation with the money supply. So money demand equation is 1000 minus 10I, which is equal to, here in this case, the money supply increased to 1800 rupees. 1800 rupees means here we will write 1800. So what is this 1800? This is the nominal money supply. So we have to divide it by the price level. The price level is 2. So we will write here 1800 by 2 means 900. So the equation here will be 1000 minus 10I equal to 900. If we solve it for the I, the value of the interest or the interest rate will be 10%. So what will be the equilibrium interest rate? The answer will be 10%. Now let us solve the fourth question. So in the fourth question, what is said? If the our central bank wants to set it at 8%. So again the same formula, that the money demand or demand for money will be equal to the supply of money. Supply of money. These two things we will equate. We know that the money demand function that is given here is 1000 minus 10 into, we already know the interest rate. What is that? 8%. So here we will not write I, rather we will write 8. So this will be the money demand, and we don't know the nominal money supply, but we know the price level, which is 2. Now let us solve this for the money supply. So if we solve it for the money supply, we can get here 1000 minus 80, which will be equal to ms by 2, or 920 will be equal to the ms by 2, or this will be the real money supply. Now we are asked to find out the nominal money supply. So what we need to do? We need to find out the ms by multiplying with the real money supply with the price level, that is 2. Or here the value will be 1840. So the question number 4 also we have solved. The value of the nominal money supply is 1840. Now let us sum up all the first 4 questions. So in the first question, what we identified? Let us draw a graph. On the horizontal axis, we measured the real money demand and real money supply. And on the vertical axis, we have measured the nominal interest rate that have been represented by I. Now, in the first case, we have identified that the money supply equation. What was the money supply equation? M by PD was 1000 minus I, 10I. So here we identified that 1000 will be the horizontal intercept and 100 was our vertical intercept. When we join these 2 points, we get the money demand equation. In the first case, what was the amount of money supply? Let us look at here. Money supply at the initial level was, nominal money supply was 1600. So if we divide it by the real money supply, that real money supply value was at here 800. We know that money supply curve is a vertical line because it doesn't depend on the interest rate, nominal interest rate. This was our equilibrium. 20% was the equilibrium interest rate when we solved the second question. Now at the third question, our equilibrium interest rate was 10% and the nominal money supply was 900. So our equilibrium interest rate was 10%, almost half of that, right? So 10%, and the corresponding money supply was at here. So it was 900 at here. And the fourth question, our nominal money supply is 1840, but real money supply was 920. So the real money supply is little greater than the third question. So here it is 920 and corresponding value of the interest rate is 8%. 8%. If the money supply increases for a given money demand in the market, the nominal interest rate will go down. Remember, there is no relationship between the money supply and the nominal interest rate because nominal interest rate is set by the central bank based on the market situation. So all 4 questions we have solved. Now the fifth question. Fifth question is little tricky and it is not actually directly related with the previous 4 questions. Here what is given? That the reserve requirement is 15. If the reserve requirement is 15, what will be the value of the multiplier? Just here I am solving it by changing the color of the pen. So we know that the value of the multiplier or money multiplier is equal to 1 by the reserve requirement and then multiply it with 100. So if we take the reserve requirement that is given at here 15% and multiply it with 100, we will get the value which will be equal to 6.66 something. So here I am taking 6.67. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.